Okay, we're going to continue this hero project and get into visual transitions. So what I did was just cut 3 shots between the 2 talking heads.
Qualify for a race.
Okay, so there it is. So what this is, there are 3 shots, 1, 2, and then right on the music hit, you can actually see with the big hit on the waveform, and I put just a frame before it lead a little bit, and you can hear it when the music hits. There's a nice cut to it. So I'm going to do a white flash, which is a video transition, and you can find under dissolve there is a dip to white. So just drag that dip to white onto the clip, the transition. Here's what it looks like. It's a little bit too slow for me for this music, so if I click on the actual transition, and you can click on the effect controls, double click on it, and then there's a transition duration, change it to 10 frames, hit OK, and then where it says alignment, click on it and pick start at cut. This is what it looks like. It's a little bit better, I think. Goes to white and dissolves out. Now, next transition, there is another effect under transitions, and you can consider this and scroll down to zoom. There is a cross zoom. Drag the cross zoom and throw that on the transition, right, the splice. Double click on that, and you will get the set transition. Change that also 10 frames, hitting OK. In this case, let's see what that looks like. Okay, so what it does is that it zooms into the shot really big, and then it zooms out to him. Okay, so those are really legitimate transitions. They're fast, they're punchy, and they seem to be motivated by the music, and that's what I'm looking for. Okay, that's one way to do things, to use the existing effects. But other thing we also know how to do is to send it to After Effects. So let's try that. So first we'll delete these effects. Select, hit delete, and they're gone. And then, let's see, I'm going to delink it. So click on that thing so I can just select the 3 shots independently without the audio. Once I have the 3 shots selected, I'm going to go to File and go to Adobe Dynamic Link and replace with After Effects Composition. Okay, so now you wait, and After Effects will launch, and then you will then name this hero effects, and effects 1, and I'm going to just save it, in this case my desktop, or you can save it to your save here, and there it launches After Effects. Now in After Effects, it has the 3 shots, 2, 3, and they're each individual layers. The picture's a little squish, which is fine because it's anamorphic and it was unsquished when we get back to Premiere. Now on this shot, we're going to try an effect called Glow. So you go in the lower right, and you can do a search under Effects and Presets and just type in GLOW, Glow. And there's the effect. Take the effect and just actually drop it onto the second clip. As you can see, that it brightens it up and starts flaring out the bright areas. And so what you can do is you, on this layer, open it up and open up effects and see glow, open that up, and you see all these adjustments you can make. So what I'm going to do at the beginning of the shot, I'm going to just turn on the keyframes by clicking on these little stopwatches on the first 3 there. And this is also repeated here in the upper left, glow, transition, radius. So that's the first frame of the shot. Go forward a little bit. I'm going to set my second set of keyframes, and we change the threshold, turn that all the way down. So 100% is the effect is all off. Now go back to the first keyframe, and then really just pump this up and change the back to, I believe, 0. Now you have this flash. So it's a little more sophisticated white flash. And then you can change the duration by bringing it a little bit closer to 2 keyframes. And there you go. It has a nice same thing. Now at the end of the shot, we can try a different effect. Playing also with lights. And we're going to search for, I believe it is light rays. And there it is, CC light rays. Drag that effect onto the same shot. You just throw it on the picture. And what it does is that it picks up some highlights, and you can see this light ray up there. So now I close up the glow and open up the light rays and set my keyframes on intensity, center, and radius. And then go to the last frame and set my second set of keyframes there. Now I want to intensify everything, and there it goes. There's my rays. And notice there's the point that you can move the start point, the actual center of those rays, and move it right onto the car, the flames. And maybe increase the, oh, there it goes. Intensity. Go back to the first keyframe and bring the intensity down to 0. There it goes. As it goes through, the rays just flare on. Oops, the start point, as you can see way up there, bring that down to the flames of the car. There it is. So now it just flares out of light. It gets very intense. Now, here's the thing. I like this, but maybe want to spill over to him. Look at the end here. There's just a couple more frames to overlap. But you don't want to move the whole thing. Just move the end of it over. So there it is. And then we have an overlap. Then I go right there on the overlap. Open that up again. Close the effects and go to transform. And there's opacity setting. So the keyframe there 100, and you get to the very last frame and change that to 0. Basically a dissolve. There's the glow. It flares out and dissolves down. If you want to go frame by frame, you have to hold Command down, hit the right key to move it. And I might change this last position of the light rays and set the keyframe on center. And oh, there it is. There's the center mark. I just grabbed the wrong center mark. There it is, up to his visor. And so now it flares out and goes up toward his visor. So that's how you kind of move the center of the rays. Okay, so you can try other effects if you want, but this is just an example how to use the dynamic link. Okay, so now all I have to do is hit File, hit Save, and then Command S, and then go Command Tab to PR, and now we see how this updates here.
5-floor raised. There's nothing like.
Okay, so there it is. Create this effect, come across here. So there are transitional things, and I think that's pretty good. Here's an idea on this John Force. I have one last idea. I'm going to put a little attitude on his shot. If I double click a John Force, go up to Effect Controls, look under Opacity, and I'm going to just click on this little create mask, the little oval, and it creates this little circle. Now I can spread this out and raise it up a little bit, pull it down a little bit, and everything else is black around him. Now I'm going to mask feather and spread that out. And the middle gets a little bit darker, so you can increase the mask expansion and opens up the inner circle. And what this does is give this kind of vignette look. And you can just click and expand all these different things. Open it, close it. You can reshape it however you want. And to lose all those little blue lines, click on negative space there. And now it gives, and now if I want to get rid of the blue box now, I double click on the title and select the box and hit delete. And now with the gradient there, it's easier to read the title. This is just a look. It makes it maybe a little more cinematic, a little more dramatic, and it's up to you to decide whether you want to do this or not. So now double click on John, and then go up to where it says opacity, and then there's a little FX there. You click the FX on and off, and you can see it before and after. You can decide how much of this you want to do, if any of this is just a thought. So that's pretty much the transitions using dynamic linking to After Effects, and maybe a little vignette if you want.